Back in December, we were in Tahiti. It was the summer here. We were house sitting at France's house around Christmas time, while Ubi was in a nearby marina. All was good until we noticed that one of our passports was about to expire. Bastien's US passport had to be renewed pretty soon. From Tahiti, we had a few options to renew: San Francisco or Auckland, New Zealand. We chose to go to New Zealand for 6 weeks. A few days later, we were on a plane and we took off to New Zealand. After a night in the hotel, we found the weather very cold, the animals weird, and the transportation very special. We soon realized we're actually visiting a museum about Antarctica, waiting for the van to be ready. In 6 weeks, we decided to focus on the South Island. We read Campervan was the best option to visit the island. Oh, something's wrong here. Oh yes, in New Zealand, they drive on the other side of the road. It took a little bit to get used to that. The van was not big, but the 5 of us could sleep in it. 2 or 3 above, and the rest on the cushions below. We had a little kitchen, a fridge, and a portable toilet. We first did a short leg to a nearby park and slept there for a few nights. The kids had finally some room to run, lots of land to discover. We're off to a good start. We then went north up the coast. We had a hard time to find free camping spots, so we ended up sleeping in a parking lot of a hotel. And we had to pay for the spot. Oh well. The next day, we went for an early hike and tried to get closer to a free camping spot. But we noticed a few issues with the van. First, the house battery was dead. It couldn't keep up with the fridge overnight. Then we had issues with the rear seat belts. We managed to release the seat belts, no big deal. But for the battery, we had to drive 3 hours to finally find a shop that could replace it. We found a campground in Blenheim for the night. And just as we were ready to go, this happened. The boys were sitting in the back, now me in the front. The seat belts got stuck again. We opened the hatch to release them again, and then the campervan started to roll backwards. Somehow, Naomi knocked the gear level out of park, and the van rolled backwards into the creek behind. It flooded the whole compartment. Our bags, our devices, the cushions, the shoes, everything got soaked. And with that, we started a month of trouble with the rental company. They wouldn't give us another van. We couldn't sleep in it. We were hit pretty hard.
Everything's wet and sensitive. This is the wettest we've ever been. In a camping van. Not even in the boat. Not even. It's crazy. Mister, do you agree that it's crazy? You okay?
Yep.
Good.
Can I tell you something? My mom broke her wrist.
She broke her hand, and she's in the hospital right now, recovering. We hope that she's going to be alright. We have no news of her for the moment. Well, I don't. It's kind of worrying. think he found... Yeah, he found... Ah, t'as trouvé mon Leatherman? Found my Leatherman, my little pocket knife. That's good. It's nice and useful. I also found my phone. Looks like...
Hey, try it.
Okay, please get some... It's probably dead, you know. School. Really?
My best to fix it.
Did you turn it on?
Nope.
Good.
But look at the apple thing. I kind of...
It looks way better, thank you, Nelly.
You're welcome. It just gets better very easily.
Okay.
You just need to rub it. It's so much better. I'm very, very happy that you got your phone back. Where's your hair wet?
I put a wet hat on. And I was getting too hot.
A pure nightmare. Even worse, Nellie broke her hand when she tried to stop the van. A double fracture that could require surgery.
Packing things in plastic bags to
In the middle of this bad storm, we got a ray of hope at the horizon. We got invited by the parents of a colleague of Nellie back in Portland. They were living on the West Coast. We rented a small car, and on our way to Westport, we contemplated our trend of downsizing in the recent years and wonder whether we were on the right path. Alan and Patsy welcomed us in their house. They pumped up our spirits with loads of ice cream and good food. At the public library, the kids got some quiet time while we were using the free internet to work with our legal team. After a few days, we had to head back to Blenheim for Nellie's checkup. The fractures were healing fine, so she wouldn't need surgery. Her swollen hand still hurt, and she could stretch it a bit before getting a new cast. From there, we resumed our vacation. We went north and spent a few days in that area. We stayed at an animal farm with some hikes nearby. We returned to Westport by car and visited Alan and Patsy again. They introduced us to one of their hobbies, geocaching. It's a nice way to explore an area and see things or places that locals appreciate and that you might otherwise miss. We did a bit of sightseeing too, Pancake Rocks or Punakaki, and we visited an old gold mine. Back at their place, the kids helped building a workbench for Alan and Patsy. And between the playground and the library, our days were peaceful and easy. Life is good in Westport. We also reconnected with some friends that we met on their boat in San Francisco 2 years ago, not home. The last time we saw them was in Tahiti. They continued their journey all the way to New Zealand. We liked the west coast of the South Island. It reminded us of the beaches of Oregon with the driftwood and the pebbles. We continued south along the coast and stayed in small cabins and campgrounds. They typically have a few beds and a small fridge with a common kitchen and common bathrooms. We felt lucky we had this option now, as it offered more room and more freedom than with a campervan. Unfortunately for the kids, we were able to save their damped school books, and so we continued doing school most mornings. The rest of the day was spent exploring and building cairns, also known as inuksuk, as Alan and Patsy told us. We spent hours moving rocks and building gravity-defying stackings. Bastien introduced some driftwood in the mix. Sometimes we would work alone. Sometimes some pieces needed collaboration and extra care. We left the beaches and drove to Fox Glacier. A nice hike around the lake showed us the foothill of the Alps, but the clouds prevented a full view. We wanted to see the snow, the glacier, and the mountains. And like in many touristic places in New Zealand, you cannot fly your drone. It's a bit frustrating, although I do get why. So on a clear morning, we decide to go and see the glacier close up. Okay, you see the picture. Let's move on.
Hey! I'm not scared!
Okay, d'accord. Here we go again. We left the coastal area to go inside the country. We found a cabin in Cromwell. It was a bit earlier than we planned for, but a big depression was about to make landfall. High sustained winds, big gusts, and lots of rain in the forecast. It was time for a change of scenery. The drive across the mountain range was spectacular, with waterfalls and nice views. In Cromwell, we had some winds, but we definitely dodged the storm. We went for a day in Queenstown, and then we drove to Wanaka. Wanaka is a good mix of nature and hikes, with activities for kids like the Puzzling World. We returned to the snow when visiting Mount Cook. The first day was grey and kind of cold. We couldn't see the mountain tops. But the second day was magnificent. We did a long hike with multiple swing bridges. The end of the trail had a picnic area with a view on a lake with icebergs. We're glad that Ubi wasn't too close to them.
Nope.
Yeah? How long is it going to take?
Long time. An hour and a half. 5 minutes. An hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
5 minutes.
You ready for it?
I'd like to stay here a little longer.
Okay.
These are icebergs.
Icebergs?
Icebergs. I want to swim there.
Yeah?
And it's not salty water.
Seems really cold.
It's really hot.
Well, the sun is really hot. I don't believe that there are icebergs right here.
I don't believe that there's snow right there. Oh, and one thing to consider, we saw an avalanche.
Today?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
Nope. Because it was very cold.
We really enjoyed this area, especially when we could get off of the beaten path and enjoy the nature all by ourselves. We drove toward Geraldine. We stopped for lunch at Castle Rock Hill, a haven for bouldering or hide and go seek. the airport. Then it was time to say goodbye to New Zealand. We left happy about this 6-week trip. I think we were lucky to swap the camper van to the smaller car, as it was way more practical and not more expensive. Next time around, when we come back to New Zealand, we'll figure a way to backpack in the wilderness. It should be easier as the kids will be a bit older.
Thank you. Let's go.
The issue with the camper van was resolved thanks to a third party. And for Bastien's passport, we were able to have it renewed in Tahiti.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... Hey, you burn me up, you burn me up, believer, believer. Hey, you burn me down, you build me up, believer, believer. Your spirit to a dove, oh, ooh, your spirit up above, oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings, they would drown, but they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke open and rained down, it rained down like... Hey, you burn me up, you burn me up, believer. And the flames, you're the face of the future, the blood in my veins, oh, ooh, the blood in my veins, oh, ooh. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down like...
I want to stop. We can't.